Hello there. Welcome back to the Force Collective. It's been a little while, but we are here and we have lots to discuss, which, that's partly my fault. Anyways, I am here
We're
now
not going to
with
say any about that.
what? Yeah,
We're not
I'm
going
not
to
gonna.
say anything about that.
Yeah, I know. The last time we streamed was 6 months ago. Okay, I understand. What the heck, my phone? My gosh, everything's going off over here. Let me mute my phone. Well, anyways, so we're back and we are going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to start off with Snow White because it's the most relevant thing at the moment. But we are going to make our way towards a few other things that have failed, controversies that's been, going on for a little while, and sort of just what the title implies. We're just going to talk about a lot of failure, hypocrisy, and double standards, because that's I was inspired to do that today. Anyways, I'm
Or,
here
or,
now with
or, or, or in other words, just being Disney.
that. Yes, just being Disney. That is absolutely right. So I'm here today with Saraway and Chrono. I don't
Hey,
think Commander Tano is going to be here today, but most of us are here. Anyways, how you guys doing?
that
He only got about 5 hours sleep, is what he told me before stream.
and I kind of expended a hell of a lot of emotional energy yelling at football umpires and cheering my team on to victory. Go Saints.
All right. So let's get started with this. We were about to have our little discussion right before the stream started, but I was like, "No, we're going to do this on live." We already have our opinions. We've already seen things, but I will admit, and I guess maybe technically it's an unfair way to judge the movie because I haven't watched it, but I haven't watched it. None of us have watched it, but I don't think we have to really to know how bad it is. And
You just have to look at that image.
yes, this image right here on screen is the best representation of what you're getting. Horrendous, scary, just all types of wrong. I don't really know who come up with the idea to do CGI dwarves, but it was an awful idea, and whoever did that should be fired. There is so much going on.
They had to do something when they got rid of the 8 dirty hippies. Oh, sorry, 7 dirty hippies.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that they didn't go that route. Now, this is what I've heard, but apparently that
Actually, they did.
What?
They did go that route. They did both.
Oh yeah, they did both. Yeah, that's what I was getting into. It's like I think they claim they never planned to have them as the dwarves or like replacing the dwarves, and they're currently in the movie. But I want to believe that it was their plan originally, but with all the backlash, they're like, nah, let's not go that route, and then threw the CGI dwarfs in there. But they wanted to keep those actors in there, so they put them in a different role of being some weird bandit people that were failed actors, which sort of fits the theme of this movie, in my opinion. Just everybody in here, including the movie itself, being failures. I'm being harsh, but I think this movie deserves it. And I'm probably not even being harsh enough.
No, I don't think you are.
Like, I don't even if I did pirate movies, this is one movie I wouldn't pirate. I really wouldn't. I'm too scared to pirate this movie because of the harmful effects it would have on my mental health just trying to watch it.
Actually, that is actually true because people are not pirating. It's
right.
Yeah, no one's downloading this.
Yeah, exactly. I guess they found a way to keep people from pirating their media. Just make a lot
Make
of
it so bad that no one wants to.
exactly.
Actually, I haven't seen any updates on this.
Okay.
But the last time I heard about, I think it was their IMDb score, it was rated lower than Dragon Ball Evolution.
It was.
Oh yes.
Let's see. What is it at now? I'm looking it up right now. Let's see.
But I mean, you have to do something wrong
It's at 1.5.
Jeez. You have to do something wrong to be beaten by Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes.
That's
Because
true.
I have actually seen that movie, and dear God.
I think I saw it years ago when I was a kid, and I gotta say I was not impressed. Though I wasn't a Dragon Ball fan back in the day either, but I didn't think it was that good. But I had heard of Dragon Ball, and I knew it didn't look like it, so I was like, I don't like this movie. And that's coming from a guy that knew nothing about Dragon Ball, and I still, for the most part, don't really know much about it because I've not really gotten through much of it yet. But I am trying. I have the whole like series of Dragon Ball Super and Z in my room right now. I just haven't watched any of them. I'm trying to go in order, which maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. Anyways, we're not talking about Dragon Ball, okay? I'm getting off track.
Why not? It's if it's better than Snow White.
That is true. That is true. I would much rather talk about something that was actually good, but here we are. Like, we got this right here on screen, and I've been waiting for this to come out just to see how bad it gets. Okay, and I'm honestly surprised it's not worse, but at the same time, I also think this is what I was expecting. I was expecting a little more out of it though, but it seems like they're trying to deflect blame onto specifically just Rachel Zegler, which I think she's a very big reason why the movie is failing. But
no, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's completely. I mean, the White Diddy party at the end absolutely helped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look, I gotta say one thing though. The movie probably would have been worse had Rachel Zegler not opened her mouth in those interviews, because when she opened her mouth, it caused backlash, and that backlash caused them to make reshoots and changes, and those changes resulted in this movie right here. But some of those changes were supposed to be, I guess, to make it more faithful to the original, but there's not much of that, of course. But like where Snow White gets, I guess, awakened by a kiss, they added that in. That was a reshoot, apparently, that people could tell her hair was different, and that's how you can tell the reshoots, because most of the movie her hair is absolutely god awful, but then in the reshoots they made it look tolerable. At least that's what I'm hearing. I'm not a reliable source on Snow White because I haven't watched it, and I will admit that. But honestly, it makes sense, and I've seen some like street busting clips that sort of lend credibility to those claims. So I tend to believe that over just going through watching it myself. I watch a lot of trusted people, and everybody that I've watched absolutely hate the movie. And this is one of many failures that Disney has put out over the last few years. Many failures. I don't know how.
You mean last 6 months? I mean,
it can go back.
They've really piled
it on
6
6 months. Yes. it just keeps getting worse. Like, and it seems to come more often. When can we ever get something good? The last time, and I'll admit this, you can't hate them on everything. Sometimes you gotta give credit where credit's due. Even though it probably wasn't the best movie in the world, Inside Out 2 was a really good movie in my opinion. I liked it, and it was a step in the right direction. But the issues that I had with that movie, or actually not issues, but the expectation that I had for that movie was really low. Okay, I was going in there thinking that they were going to, ruin the movie with their track record, and honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. But I can sort of tell that there was changes to the movie, and that being like, I don't know if you guys have either of you guys watched Inside Out 2? I can't remember if we even talked about this.
Nope.
Okay. I think that there was supposedly supposed to be a lesbian romance between Riley and the older kid that she was very infatuated with, and I could see that they were going for that, but they completely shied away from it. Didn't even go that route. So I'm just thinking like that was probably written in there and they took it out because of the Buzz Lightyear lesbian kiss thing that they did. And there was talk about that. Yeah, it was a smart move because the movie, I mean, it's about a 13-year-old girl, I think, who's trying to, I guess, survive puberty. It's not about forming sexual relationships of like any different kind. It's not about being romantically involved with anybody. It's about somebody trying to deal with their mental state in these new situations. It does, in my opinion, cover a lot of those issues pretty well in this visual medium that they chose. So I think the movie was good, and I'm glad they shied away from what I think was going to be a lesbian romance between the two characters, because it really would have felt forced. It already felt sort of weird that she was so obsessed with this person. But in the end, it didn't, and I'm not sounding homophobic, but I'm glad it didn't turn out that way because I'm tired of them shoving it in our faces. I mean, it's almost another Andor situation where we get uninteresting lesbians. I mean, I don't want that again. I don't want that again, okay? Make them interesting. Oh, God, don't force it.
Just remembering that just makes me laugh.
Yeah. I was talking about that with my sister not too long ago. We were talking about it. They were the way they did it, and I feel like we've had this discussion before, but the way they did the lesbian romance, they really hinted around it, and they did give you some visual indicators that they're together because they would sort of like
they didn't hint around it. It was just there was absolutely no chemistry between them.
Well,
they were trying to.
They were trying. That's what I'm trying to say. They implied that they were together multiple times. Then they finally confirmed it. But when they had a chance to show it,
no. I mean, they confirmed it in the first meeting. It was sort of the what's her name?
The
leader. She walked up and pretty much went, "This is my woman. It's off."
Well, that's true.
But the thing was that
they danced around
the relationship.
Yeah.
No. It was just that they chose the wrong types of characters to do the relationship. When you have a strong moody type meant to be dating a strong silent type, all you get is silence.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably not wording it right when I say this. When I say dancing around, I mean more like there's some forms of media that will go all out, and have them like being absolutely romantic with each other. But I feel like they were trying to minimize that with Andor and try to appease both sides. And instead, like in the I think last episode where they finally had a conversation, it was one of the stupidest things I'd ever seen. Too, because the one of them didn't seem interested at all in having a conversation with their supposed lover, but I mean, I'm dead serious when I say this. I really believe the what was her name? The dark skinned one. What was her name? I can't remember her name. She wasn't interested in it at all. I can't remember. Okay. But I feel like really just didn't like her at all. It really felt like that because there was no chemistry. It was cold. She was cold the entire time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing was that it almost sounded like friends with benefits, just without the friendship part or the benefits part.
Yeah, it's just the relationship as in like having it, and that's it. They were just having it there so they could say they had it. Because when they had a chance to show that affection to the people on screen, they chose to cut to the next scene before they could. Because it's an implied kiss at the end of that scene. After that conversation, she's like, "Come here," and they get close to each other, and then cuts to the next scene. If you're going to do it, just do it. You don't have to throw a bunch of implications in there. You're trying to please too many people, and it's not working. Okay, you're either going to go one way or you're going to go the other. It doesn't work to try to straddle the fence, and that's part of the reason why we're in the situations with media as we are now. Because
and let's be perfectly frank. Andor was meant to be an adult show. It's not a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
Show the goddamn kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, just you either go all out or you don't go at all. Like if you support it so much, if you're so, I hate to use the word woke. If you're so progressive, why are you hiding things from the people that you say you want to cater to? If you really cared that much about it, you would be showing it. Just like at the end of Rise of Skywalker, which I don't think, did we ever talk about that scene? We probably did, where they had a lesbian kiss. They did show it, but it was so quick that you can miss it really easily. Like, oh yeah, we got the kiss in there. You better be happy. But guess what? They probably aren't happy because they barely got any screen time for that, and they didn't have any lead up for that. Like, why are we going to be led to believe that they're not led to believe? I'm terrible at talking today. What I'm trying to say is there's no build up to it. If you're going to try to show people like that in there and to represent them, you're going to have to give us some like a meaningful reason to care about those characters. You can't just throw it in there and be like, oh yep, there you go, there's your same-sex kiss that you're looking for, because
just throw them a bone.
Yeah, I mean it don't feel genuine to those people. It's very clear that it's only there to just cater to a particular audience that really doesn't exist. The modern audience does not exist. We are the modern audience. The audience that's there to watch your stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that if you're gonna have a lesbian kiss that everyone can enjoy, not just
right.
Make it passionate, make it sexual. Sort of have everyone go, ooh.
I mean, one way to pull off a good romance between two same-gendered characters would be Arcane. Arcane does a really good job. Nobody's complaining.
I still need to sit down and watch that.
I haven't fully watched it either, but I do enjoy the show. And I gotta say, like, I'm not bothered by it because it's done really well in that show. I mean, it don't feel forced like, let's say, in Andor. It felt so forced, so chemistryless. But then we have Arcane, and it works. We're not afraid of stuff like that, and I don't know why people think that that's why. But they don't have any better excuses to use, I guess. They just think, oh, they're afraid of that kind of thing. They don't want that kind of thing in their movies. It's not that at all. We don't want something that's going to be shoved down our throat like somebody preaching to us. You know?
Yep.
And that's the difference between, I guess, making a very entertaining movie and then making a preachy one. And that's why so many of them are failing nowadays, which that's one of the main topics for today is just failure, which Snow White is the probably biggest one here at the moment. But we also got to talk about Captain America Brave New World. It failed hard, just like Snow White, but I think Snow White failed worse. And with the way Disney does things, and I can't stand it because it don't make sense why or how they do it, but if you're going to go like make a story that people are not going to like, and once that stuff gets leaked, like, okay, let's go and just reshoot a bunch of scenes. That's more money being spent. Why not just work hard enough to get it right the first time? Why don't you care about what people will think instead of trying to hide it from people? Like, you're going to lose the trust in the people that you're trying to sell to.
Because the thing is that they've got all these consultants that are going, oh yes, everyone wants to see all this random stuff, and everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants, we absolutely need you to put Trump in this movie. We absolutely need to, we need a Trump allegory in this scene. Oh, sorry, in this movie. We need neo-Nazis or something like that. So Hollywood goes, oh, okay. And then they just put it in.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I forgot. I hadn't been playing the background music. There we go. I completely forgot about fixing that.
Well done.
Yep, I know. I'm a professional streamer. Professional. All right. Well, anyways, so Snow White, Captain America, like, this isn't even just about Disney, though. Like, I want to talk about, how it's just the industry in general. And it's not just the movie industry. It's not just Hollywood. It's also the gaming industry, too. Look at, like, Dragon.
That's going to be a 4-hour stream, right?
Oh, yeah. Belgard. I mean, yes, it will be a 4-hour stream, but
let's just keep it to Disney for this one. We can jump on the back of video games next stream.
There is one thing I wanted to mention though about that is that we know that Belgard released not too long ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you've checked on PlayStation recently, but right now, it is free for the month. And I was incredibly tempted to try it out just so I can say I tried it and give a more fair and honest review about it. But I can't even bring myself to put myself through that one. But it is free for PlayStation Plus members, which is insane.
Don't corrupt your hard drive with that.
I won't. I already I was halfway tempted, but I'm like, nah, I won't do it. And thankfully I didn't. I didn't even add it to the library. I was like, well, what if I did want to try it? But then I'm like, no, I will stay strong. I will not touch this. But anyways, that's just like, it's that Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is a whole other situation that's not great. There's so many things failing. Concord, Avowed, What was that other one I'm trying to think of? It's Dustborn. Like, so many things in both industries are failing, and I'm just wondering how these companies have the money to just waste on things that they know people aren't going to play or watch.
Well,
And that's
seeing how Ubisoft just sold its IPs, they kind of don't.
well, yeah, exactly. And it's honestly disheartening to see how movies and gaming have fallen, because I remember I went back and watched an older, or not an older movie. I went back and watched a movie that I hadn't watched in a long time, and I just it felt like it was made to be entertaining and to sort of I guess take us out of the world that we're already in. While movies today are to be like, I think I've said this before multiple
Teaching
times.
material.
Well, teaching material and a paid DLC to life is what I like to say. A paid DLC for life. You know, like you get to experience more struggles with everyday life through this movie. Hope you enjoy. Don't be entertained.
If you want to find out what life is like for a disabled autistic black lesbian in a wheelchair, ta-da!
I want to be able to feel the struggle.
That sounds like the premise for Sun Spider.
You know what we should do, guys? We should make that happen. We should make one of those types of movies. Apparently, it's the going thing. I mean, it'll fail, but who cares about what everybody else would think, right?
Yeah, it's not their money.
Yeah.
Or ours.
Yeah, exactly. And now that I'm not trying to bring in today's politics, like with, who's president and all that stuff, but with USAID, that which has been, I think, shut down now. There's a lot of companies getting money for things that they shouldn't.
The stuff they revealed about that was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it.
I know. It is insane. And I don't even know if
Iraqi
everything's been
Sesame
revealed
Street.
yet. Yes, Iraqi Sesame Street, which is insane. Like, why? Why do they need Sesame Street? Can't they just watch the Sesame Street that we have and just have it translated? Why? Anyway.
I mean, I can sort of understand it. You're wanting material. Well, okay. An American-funded Iraqi Sesame Street would be much better than Hamas-funded Palestinian Sesame Street.
True.
Because, at least the Iraqi Sesame Street will be teaching kids how to count 1 to 2. Where a Palestinian Sesame Street is how to kill a Jew.
You're a poet, sir. You're a poet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's kind of understandable, but it's also kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where I'm going with the USAID. So a lot of companies were getting funded by our tax money for things. I just wonder, sometimes, this is a conspiracy theory, but I just wonder, do some of these companies that make movies that constantly fail, Disney, get funded by our tax dollars? That's something
most
that
likely.
I'm like, how can you put out so many movies that fail like this? Like, here, let me show you something. Let's see. Can I?
Okay. The one thing you need to remember when asking this question, how can how is there so much money to fund this type of stuff, is that you have people that have bought completely into this ideology, and so they're thinking, oh yeah, no, this could absolutely make $1 billion. Here, have the money. You know, Disney will give me my money back, so here's a few millions of dollars to create Snow White.
All right. This right here is an article from Forbes. Now, I know it's probably not the greatest website to get articles from, but as you can tell, Mufasa only made $35 million on their opening weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what they? Yeah. Snow White currently.
What did you say about Mufasa? Oh,
Mufasa.
Your brother?
Oh.
Oh, sorry, brother. Oh God. The minute I heard that, I sort of gone, oh yeah, I do not want to watch this.
No. I didn't want to either. The other day, yesterday, I talked to somebody at my job that actually loved the movie. I don't know how it got onto that conversation, but they said they loved it. They thought it was great. Anyways, that's just a little side note. But I didn't ever think it looked that great. And usually I'm pretty good at telling what's good and what ain't just by looking at the advertising material and clips I've seen online. Anyways, but as you can tell, 35 million opening weekend for Mufasa, 43 million for Snow White.
I don't even know how it got 43.
46. I don't know how it got 43 either. I guess it's because it's Disney and Snow White, and there's just so many normies out there that don't care enough to look at reviews or anything like that before they go watch. They just say, "Oh, it's Disney. Let's go watch it." I mean, to be fair, I'll give them this much. It is I would say it's considered a kids movie, because it's designed for, I guess, to be watched by little girls mainly, and a lot of parents will go take their kids to see these types of movies. And a lot of parents don't necessarily watch, let's say YouTube and find reviews about it on YouTube, or they don't even get invested in the controversies. Or
just keeping up with the news leaking.
Right, exactly. So it makes sense that they still make some money from their movies. But as you can tell, though, over the years, it has, for all their live action remakes, like The Lion King, 191 million opening weekend, Beauty and the Beast, 174, Alice in Wonderland, 116, so on and so forth, all the way down here to Snow White, Dumbo, and Mufasa, which are 46, 43, and 35, which is insane. Because usually a Disney movie would be pretty much a almost $1 billion movie, depending on what it is. Like with Star Wars, it was a $1 billion movie, But I mean, I don't know what it was on its opening weekend. It usually don't make $1 billion in opening weekend, but on opening weekend, you see a lot of money. Like Lion King being a good example of that. But then here we are today with this right here.
Yeah, I got to admit, one of the another reason why I didn't see Mufasa was because I kind of heard a lot of the stuff that came out of The Lion King, and I went, yeah, no.
Yep.
When they removed, when they removed the Timon and Pumbaa, You Want a Pig song, I was like, no. No, absolutely not. And I think they had Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, and it's like, yep, no, definitely no.
Yeah, and with The Lion King, it shortened one of my favorite songs in that movie My absolute favorite in that movie is Be Prepared, and they shortened it to almost nothing. It felt so weird to not have like a whole sequence for that. That was my favorite part of the Lion King movie, the original.
Did you realize which parts they cut?
I'd have to probably go back and watch again because off the top of my head I can't think of it. But is there a particular scene that you're thinking of?
Yes, they cut away all the Nazi references to that clip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you watch the animated one and compare it to the live action, the whole point of the change was not to make it sound like Scar and the hyenas were Nazis.
Oh.
They're the bad guys.
Yeah, that was the point in the original film.
Hold on a second. So if that's an issue there, hold on. Continue talking. I'm gonna pull something up real quick.
That's just far out. Yes, let's not show the bad guys acting and marching like Nazis. Yeah, that's definitely. That just blows my mind.
And this is the same people that made the First Order to look like Nazis.
See, that's what I was getting ready to pull that up. Okay, you beat me to it, but I'm still going to show it anyways because I can. Hold on.
You have the power.
I do today. I mean, come on. That's not even the image that I'm looking for, but that's the closest one right now.
The one with Hux, yeah.
But they got this giant red flag in the back. It just looks like Nazi Germany, but futuristic. Not only that, but if you remember, and I'll have to find it to be able to really describe it. Oh, actually, no, I won't have to. After he gets done with his speech, if I do find the image, I'll show it to you. But when he gets done with the speech, they all do a salute, it looks very similar to the Nazi salute. Okay.
You mean the Elon salute?
Yes, the Elon salute. Yeah, let's call it that. Let's see. I have an image somewhere. But anyways, no, we'll move away from that. I'm sure everybody knows.
I've kind of just sort of, I don't know why it's. I don't know why it's taking me this long to sort of see this. But doesn't the first order symbol look like a gaping asshole?
You had to say it. You had to say it, didn't you?
Yes.
Now I won't be able to unsee it. I didn't want to see it, but now I see it, and it's all your fault.
I do hope you don't have a T-shirt with that symbol.
No, I don't. Thankfully. Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm hitting buttons and I don't know what I'm doing apparently. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Come on. Don't tell me that doesn't look like Nazi Germany. So I don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear them say that they cut that song to make it seem less Nazi-like when they got this. Okay? They got this. So, anyways.
Also, the other ridiculous change they made was to the Elton John song. The song says, "Can you feel the love tonight?" Remember that? Mm-hmm. Well, during the movie, the song is played in the day.
Why?
Oh God!
In that scene,
Really?
when they play that song, the scene plays out in daytime.
Oh.
How can you mess up that badly, though? How do they mess up that badly?
Can you feel the love today?
It don't even sound as good when you say it like that. That's the thing. It just don't sound.
Yeah, I can't. Well, hang on, it wouldn't be today. It would be, Can you feel the love day?
All right. Anyways, so we've talked about failures, and there's so much more to talk about in that regard. But I want to move on to hypocrisy, and I think double standard sort of runs
Before
together.
you do, did you see how much it's predicted to lose?
No, I haven't. How much is it predicted to lose?
It's about 250 down.
Ooh.
And
Sounds.
the drop for the first week, 77%.
Oh!
Oh my
Yeah,
Lord.
that's not making anything back.
Nope. Not at all.
They should have just Batgirled it.
They really should have, and I've been saying that since the first interview with Rachel Zegler. I've been saying that for a while. And it's honestly surprising that they didn't. They could literally take this as a tax write-off and just, not show it to anybody. Yeah.
But then again, I think Batgirl was only, like a $90 million production or something, where this had already blown to three or four times that.
This one was supposed to be 270, and they say that it spent 200 just for advertising.
Yeah. The advertising itself, like they've put so much into advertising this, and it's the most heartless advertising I've ever seen, or soulless advertising I've ever seen, because all they do is compare the old one to the new one. Then they have like little bits of like Rachel Zegler going out and like I guess talking to people or something like that, trying to make her seem nicer, than what she really is. And it's obvious what they're trying to do. Like the other day, actually yesterday, I was just scrolling on my phone on my Facebook, because I do that sometimes, and I would get like at least 3 posts on there showing how Snow White is the #1 movie, or Rachel Zegler is stunning in this movie, or something like that. Like they're trying to build her and this movie up to be something, and it is so painfully obvious what they're trying to do, because they know that she is mostly the reason why the movie is failing. But as I was about to mention before, I don't know if I said this before, it takes more than just Rachel Zegler to sink this movie. She did a really good job at putting a hole in the Titanic. She was that big glacier, but there was other little things that added to it. And that would be
like the script, the direction, the cinematography, the costuming,
literally
the CGI.
Yes. And I mean, we had the situation recently.
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage had to open his mouth, and they had to be like, okay, let's take jobs away from real little people, and let's put in some ugly CGI ones. But it doesn't boil down to just Rachel Zegler, and I'll give her that, but she is by far not off the hook. She is a very huge reason for why it failed as bad as it did. It probably wouldn't have failed as bad had she had just kept her activist mouth shut. People wouldn't know how much that they despised the original one if she hadn't said anything. There wouldn't be any backlash unless something got leaked.
Not only did it cost the movie, but it caused an issue for Gal Gadot, which is why she hates her, because she steered the fans, and they went after Gal Gadot to the point that Disney had to pay for security.
Exactly. And that's another thing I was going to mention. Because this right here will also tie into hypocrisy and double standards. Okay? So now we're heading into that territory. So another issue, and it's not even just.
Hang on. Before we get into that,
Yes.
I just sent you 2 images on Discord.
Okay.
I think you should show it.
Oh, okay. Let me pull up my Discord here. Is it in which chat? Oh, that one. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Let me stop and
One of these images pretty much got us to do this. Was the motivation behind the stream?
Yes, this is the actual motivation. So the I think what was it? Sometime last week, or was it earlier? It was earlier this week. You sent a tweet that had this image in it, and I was like, "The downfall is glorious." I think is what I said, or legendary. It's one or the other. And you're like, "So how about we make a stream out of it?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" How about how about today? Is today good? Yes, today is good. So here we are. But this is a really funny image. I thought it was amazing. And what's this one? Let's see. I have no idea why they're failing. So they're going to keep failing. Oh yeah, they have no. Okay, sorry, I can't even read. They have no idea why they're failing. So they're going to keep failing. Disney doesn't even spare the horses. Dear Lord, I see it now.
Yep.
And the funniest thing is that they did it again. In Snow White, you probably remember there's a scene where she has a bird perch in her hand.
Yes.
That bird is blue in the original movie. In the live action movie, it's almost a crow. It's a black big bird.
God.
Serious?
Really?
A black bird?
Yes, a black bird.
They don't spare the animals at all. It's sad.
There's a reason why it was a bluebird. Bluebirds sing nicely. Crows don't sing.
No, crows are absolutely atrocious. Have you played Resident Evil? They're the worst.
Crows are cute and they're smart and they're intelligent.
Not
so
when you're
ravens.
playing Resident Evil, okay?
Well, bleh. I'm talking about the animals.
Well, I'm talking about. Go ahead.
First array, it's Australian. I mean, to him, 5-foot spider is cute.
True. True. You're right.
Actually, I've got a cute housemate walking around the roof at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
But anyways, so now I think I'm going to finally talk about hypocrisy and double standards. I need to make that like a little title card here, like hypocrisy and double standards. Nah, I won't do that. Okay, so anyways,
that's for your business card.
Yes, I'll do that. But so
hi, I'm Shade. Hypocrisy and double standards.
Yes, that's just my business card. I don't know what it'd be for, but I mean, I hand it out. I mean, I already have business cards at my job, and I'm just gonna have to start writing hypocrisy and double standards and failure, all 3 of those on the back of it, because there's like 3 lines that I can write on the backside. Don't worry what the backside wants me to write there. I'm just going to write down failure, hypocrisy, and double standards for everybody now. Anyway, I don't want to think about my job right now. I'm tired. But so anyways, when it comes to hypocrisy and double standards, Rachel Zegler and Gina Carano are 2 really good examples for this. Okay, Disney's hypocrisy and double standards for Rachel Zegler have led me to believe that as long as you believe. Now, this hasn't led me to believe that. What am I talking about? I've already seen it, but this is proof. This is visual proof that as long as you have the same viewpoints as the people in charge, it don't matter what you say, they will not do anything to you. It doesn't matter with the rumor about now. It's not a rumor; it's confirmed that I think the director went to talk to Rachel Zegler. But the thing is, that's different than just
The producer.
the producer. Sorry, that's right,
Yeah.
the producer. They went personally to talk to Rachel Zegler to have her remove one of her Palestine tweets that were underneath the advertisement, which was overshadowing the advertisement, mind you. It got more views and likes than the actual advertisement itself. And so she was told to remove it. And she's like, nah. And she didn't. And, multiple situations like this happened. She had to have a social media handler. And it's crazy because if this was Gina Carano, they would have just fired her.
I actually disagree with everything you're saying.
Okay, explain.
Because the one thing you need to remember is that when it came to Gina Carano, she was in the supporting cast. She wasn't the main character. She wasn't the star.
That is true.
If you fire the star, you might as well just delete the movie. So it wasn't. I don't think it's so much double standards. It's a case of, oh crap, we've just tied an anvil to our feet. We need to lift it up so we don't. So we need to get it out of the water so it doesn't drag us to the bottom. Where with Gina Carano, they could just, cut the rope and let the anvil sink.
But to be fair, she was going to be the main character of another show that was coming out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But she wasn't then. She wasn't at that point.
No,
I think you are correct in the fact that it was a double standard because the situation is pretty much the same. But the big difference is, as Sereo points out, Gina was not essential to the show, and Rachel was the star of the movie.
As always, you are both right.
And the other thing is, Rachel also had diversity shield because they could not go against their Latina star.
No. I don't think the diversity shield.
It's not what saved her, but it certainly contributed because Gina Carano is a white straight woman. She's everything they despise, but Rachel Zegler isn't.
I just don't think it's as involved in this because, frankly, this is, what Rachel Zegler's done has been beyond the pale, and I don't even think the diversity shield would have protected her. It might have mitigated some of the damage, but no, I think she went well past anything the diversity shield could have tanked, and this is just solely a case of if they fired the main star of this movie, they might as well have just deleted the movie right there and then.
Yeah, that was the number one reason. Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that too, and that's why though they should have just went ahead and done that, because it's better to have not spent all, what did you say, 270 million, than to lose roughly close to that much.
The thing though is that a lot of the crazier crap came out after the reshoots, not before the reshoots. I mean, before the reshoots, the stuff that she was saying was just
disrespectful, but not, I guess,
just crazy,
absolutely the worst. But
I mean, a good spin doctor could probably brush this off, but now with a lot of the stuff that she's doing, yeah, if she had have done this before the reshoots, they probably would have just yeeted the movie. But it's just at this present moment, let's just put it this way, there would be articles for days and weeks if they fired Rachel right now.
yeah,
And technically they kind of have, because she's, her latest work is on Broadway or West End. So she's been shunted out of Hollywood and sent down to
Broadway. Yeah,
it actually sounds horrible saying it like that. It's sort of like, oh, she's just been shunted off to the secondary type of situation. No, there's a lot of talent on Broadway, but when
Broadway
you
isn't as popular as Hollywood. Like,
no, I would just sort of say that that's the best way of putting it.
well,
Hollywood would be playing for your country in international sports,
yeah,
where Broadway is, well, say let's just use basketball. Hollywood would be playing in the Olympics, where Broadway would be playing for the NBA.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
So
Broadway
it's
is obviously the cultural landscape where we should all consider it like this is the top you can aspire to be. This is where the actual art is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. But the thing is, she fits right in over there because artsy people are mostly progressive. They have the same mindset she does.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, and I'll give her one thing. She has a good singing voice when the music isn't terrible. Because I've heard the songs, and the songs are awful, but her voice is good. So she would probably fit well with a Broadway musical if the song was good, So I'll give her one thing. Because
isn't that where she was found?
Steven Spielberg found her, but I can't remember where. It might have been Broadway. And if it was, I mean, it would make sense for her to go back to it. But the thing is, Steven Spielberg himself found
Should have
her
left
and
her
made
there.
her who she is. He should have left her there, yes. He really should have. Because she's doing a complete disservice to him by being what she is when she could have went to the top, And I think she was trying to, but because she can't keep her mouth shut, she lost her chance at that, at least for now. I don't know if...
No one's going to be asking her back.
Probably not. She may possibly be blacklisted, by the way, as well, which is something I have been hearing. And if that's the case, oh well, nobody's going to want you if Disney blacklisted you.
The producer that had the talk to her, I was seeing that he is kind of like one of the top producers among Disney and Hollywood. And imagine, you pick a fight with this guy, he's going to tell everyone not to work with you.
Exactly. Now, maybe one day she'll realize the error of her ways, but I don't think it's going to save her. I think she ended her career by being what she was for this movie. Not to mention that this movie is going to fail mostly because of her.
Well, she hasn't ended her career. She hasn't ended her career. She's just ended her Hollywood career.
That's more of a dramatic. Yes, that's what I'm meaning. She not necessarily ended her career, but I mean, she's not going to get any higher in Hollywood.
And people don't like her.
Hard.
The start value for these movies is that most people go because of some name. And who is going to watch any kind of movie saying, "Oh, Rachel Zegler's in it"? No one.
After her comments, like I was going to watch that Hunger Games movie that she's in, but after her comments and the way that how smug and narcissistic she is, it made me just completely not want to watch it because she's in it. And I do like Hunger Games. I haven't watched all of the movies, but that was one of them I was going to watch. And now I won't watch it at all because she was in it, because she is such a terrible person. And I'm not one that usually lets the person outside of the character affect how I feel about the media that I'm watching, but there is a line that can be drawn, and she has drawn that line. I mean, like with Mark Hamill, I disagree with most of everything that he says or does. Honestly, I hope he gets proven wrong in every possible way for every terrible comment he makes about this or that. But I separate Mark Hamill from Luke Skywalker because the character of Luke does not in any way seem to reflect the values that the actor has put forth. As for Snow White here, the new Snow White, her character feels like it's just Rachel Zegler but in a Snow White dress, and that's it.
Yeah, but Mark Hamill is a special case. I mean, he's a severe TDS case, and
he is.
The other issue is that Mark Hamill isn't even Luke Skywalker because he didn't even like the character. Mm-hmm. He always said it was just a job.
Yeah. And
I never heard that, but okay.
Yeah, he would complain in conventions when he was asked "Oh, when Luke did this and he was that," and he was super annoyed at the fans. How do you remember all that? I don't care.
Well, yeah, no, I can sort of understand that because I mean the thing is that he's done other work and he's worked on other iconic characters, but everyone talks to him about Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I would probably get a little bit.
Yeah, I actually respect his job more as a voice actor than I do as Luke Skywalker.
I can understand that because he has done some pretty good voice acting work.
Yeah, he has.
He really has, especially, and I know this is another, he's known for Luke Skywalker, he's also known for the Joker, and I wonder if he gets equally annoyed with being known for the Joker because that's one of his biggest voice acting roles. And
do you know another voice acting role?
I know that he's worked on I think a DreamWorks movie or two. I can't remember who he was in those movies. It's been a long time since I watched them.
Yeah, most people won't remember who he played.
Yeah.
The Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar.
Oh, did he really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
The minute I heard the voice, I've gone, wait, hang on a second. Yep.
He also did Skeletor in the new He-Man thing, which, I mean, I haven't watched it, but I feel like he would have had a good voice for Skeletor.
Yeah.
There's I mean, he's done some good work, and honestly, though, it's just leave your work separate from your personal life. Don't try to interject what you believe into the entertainment part, into your job. It's like me going.
Yeah, he was very disrespectful when he dissed Star Wars fans because, sure, you can hate the government, Trump, whatever, but people look to you because of the character you portray. They don't give a damn what you think politically.
Exactly.
So he shouldn't have done that. It was very disrespectful.
And not only that, but with the current political climate, it seems to have really, really shifted as of November the 5th, I think is the day, November 4th or 5th, where half the country voted for a certain president that people still have a derangement syndrome about. So
You can say his name. I mean, he might be a
that,
bit of a dick, but
well, I mean,
we're all adults here.
that is true. Well, don't get me wrong, I voted for him. I voted for Trump, and I'll admit that proudly because he's done. And I mean, I'm honestly surprised because I'm only 28, so I've not lived a long time. But out of my 28 years of life, and I did somewhat pay attention to politics, especially when Obama got in as president. I started paying more attention around that time. I've never seen a president do as much in the first, I think it's been almost just 2 months. It's been a little over 2 months. Then, especially with the last administration, they've done absolutely nothing over the last 4 years, and they always deflect everything, didn't want to answer any questions, this and that. Our current one seems to be more transparent. It seems to be getting things done. I mean, our gas prices have went down, which is amazing. Egg prices are starting to go down. I think in my area they're still a little expensive, but I know there's a lot of areas that they have started to go down in. So it's there's been a lot of positive changes. And the thing is, when there's people that are out there trying to frame over half the country as the bad guys, you gotta. If I was one of those people, and I saw how badly I lost, okay? If I saw how many people actually disagreed with who I was voting for, that would start to make me think a little bit. I'd say it would make me think a little bit about why.
Are we the baddies?
Exactly.
Well, not so much are we the baddies. I'm just calling upon the meme.
Yeah. But, I mean, things like this, situations like this, should cause a person to think, But people are so deranged.
The Democrats have stopped thinking for the past 12 years. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who in the world thought that Joe Biden would have been a good president? I mean, he clearly proved how bad of a president he was. He did nothing. And everything that was done, which I just found out not too long ago, was done through an auto pen. So any of the executive orders that he signed, they weren't even signed by his own hand, while you're getting video footage of Trump actually signing each and every one of his, which is nice to see that he's actually doing it. Biden was a puppet.
Hang on.
Puppet.
Actually, one thing that you need to understand is that the what was it? The research group that went through that were using the documents from an archive, a digital archive, and the digital archive essentially just reuses signature image for all presidents for all documents. So even if you let's just say the bill that Trump signed preventing I think it was trans women from being in male sports or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the digital archives for that document, you will see the photocopied signature, not the actual signature that Donald Trump did in the White House.
Yeah.
So, at this present moment, And I can't say, I'm not saying that he didn't use an auto pen or he did use an auto pen or anything like that. It's just sort of a case of there's more evidence that needs to come out, and even then, it's been well established that presidents have signed multiple documents with an auto pen due to many different circumstances. For instance, President Obama, I think, was at a G7 summit. A bill needed to be signed that day, and there was no way in hell he was going to be able to get back from Europe to America to sign and then fly back. So they authorized an auto pen for it.
That's the thing, though. That right there is the thing. At least we knew it was authorized to use. It's not the fact that he used an auto pen. It's the fact that we don't know if he was actually the one authorizing the auto pen to be used.
Oh yeah, and that. But I mean, that's sort of what I'm saying. There's more that needs to be looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of. I don't know. I've sort of lost my train of thought here.
Yeah, releasing this information to the public, the whole point is, they know that this is not going to stick for as a way to move forward with something against them, but it puts pressure on them. That's what he wants.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He wants them running scared, and he wants the public to see this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, it is just sort of a case of it's just a little too early to sort of state definitively that the XYZ were completely useless and should be thrown out type situation.
Well, here's the thing, though. I've seen things that give, I guess, credit to the idea that he wasn't the one signing his executive orders. I think, who was it?
Hang on a second.
Remember his title.
Is this still kind of in the ballpark of the topics? Or have we just gone straight off the rails?
We've straight gone off the rails. You know, we'll save political stuff for another time, because that's not truly why I'm here anyways. I have, I guess, my own political ideas, but I like to try to separate it. I really do like to separate it from entertainment, but where they integrate it so deeply into our entertainment nowadays, it's almost impossible. And I mean, I'll admit, back when I was a kid, whenever I watched Star Wars, for instance, the only politics that I cared about was the politics that was going on in the Senate, in the movies. I didn't think about it being real world necessarily. But as time has went on with how the culture has shifted and how much of politics, has been shoved into movies and entertainment in general nowadays, it has become very hard to separate it. And I mean, as somebody who never did want to do that in the first place, I mean, I started this channel just to talk about Star Wars stuff that I was excited about, or just talk about Star Wars in general. But now here we are. I've almost put a hold on Star Wars topics because, like, what is there to talk about? The Acolyte, it failed too, by the way. That was another thing I wanted to talk about.
But haven't we already talked about the Acolyte to death?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because we've already stated how terrible the show is, and there's really no no need to really go on further about how bad it is. Hashtag it's Torben time, by the way. Let's Torben ourselves. Anyways, but we can still talk about one thing, and that
actually this goes both in hand with politics and Snow White. Did you know that the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the movie are about socialism?
Yes, I've been hearing that too.
Yes, the movie starts with the explanation of how the kingdom operated before the evil queen took over. And they give you this speech about how the king and the queen would cooperate with all the peasants, and everyone shared their resources. They use these words. They are like, we shared everything with each other, and we helped each other, and we were a community. They are straight up telling you that, like, oh yeah, this socialist kingdom worked wonders.
Yep, that's true. And
the way the movie ends is by inciting a rebellion against the queen.
Yep, and the only reason that they decided to rebel is because she knew the names of some of those people.
Yeah,
that's it.
She
just knew their names.
Yeah.
Hey, like, John. Oh, well, I'm going to stop fighting for you now.
Yep. You know what? Let's do it. Let's Torben ourselves. We're done with this. I'm going to bring that back every time now. I'm going to bring that back.
It's Torben time.
It's Torben.
Should have made the GIF.
I know, right? I need to do that. That'll be my next thing. I'll put it up on the screen and everything. Oh,
so hang on. Is would the GIF be, Torben taking a drink with the morphing screen behind it?
Yes, you know. Yes.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oh, by the way, I haven't done this in a while, and there's no reason for me to do it, but I'm doing it anyways, just for the fun of it. Sorry, nostalgia.
Yes.
Anyways, so I've lost track of where I'm at. Oh yeah, with the Acolyte. That's right. The only reason I'm bringing up the Acolyte again is because apparently there is some sort of rumor that it's possible that it could get a season 2. And
hang on a second, be right back, guys.
Okay. I have no idea if either of you heard anything about it, which I know he's muted right now, but what about you, Connor? Have you heard anything about it?
I did. I don't know the specifics. I just heard a rumor, but I find it incredibly stupid.
Me too. And it's crazy to even think that they would even consider that after how colossally it failed. And I meant to bring this up during the failure section, but at the same time, it is still like relevant because we're talking about how hypocrisy and double standards as well, and there's tons of that in this as well. But when it comes to this right here, they failed so colossally. Why would they want to do a season 2? It wouldn't make sense. It don't make sense.
I don't think they really want to make a season 2. I think they want to make noise.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right, because I guess the more noise they create about it, probably the more controversy. Maybe they are trying to incite it, to see if they can get it to be made so it can anger the, I think, quote unquote chuds. I think that's one of the words they like to use. I'm not big into the slang, so I don't know.
Well, the thing is, Star Wars. We said this way before it all happened, but Star Wars is dead. It has been for a while,
Yep.
Now even the conversation about it is also dead. No one cares.
Exactly.
No one's talking about it.
What's worse is that we haven't even mentioned Skeleton Crew. I didn't even think about it until you said that the conversation around it is dead, and that sparked it in my head. Like, wait, nobody talked about Skeleton Crew either.
Skeleton Crew had the worst ratings ever because no one cared.
And I sort of doubt the new Andor season is going to do any good either, because nobody cares.
I think the only people that will watch Andor season 2 are people like us who actually found season 1 good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not actually watching it, but
Yeah.
I just don't care about it. Like, I'm not like, man, I can't miss an episode. Like
No.
like I did with like the Mandalorian season 2. There was no way I was about to miss a single episode. Not
The only reason
all.
I actually care about Andor is because I want to see where Luthen's story goes.
Exactly. His story was actually interesting. But the only thing I do dread is seeing the uninteresting lesbians, because they're probably going to be just as uninteresting as before. If they, maybe they won't even show up. Maybe the season's going to completely stray away from them and be like, you know what, they were the weakest part of the show, so let's not throw them in there again. Or they're going to rewrite them and make them better. I don't know.
You know what
Well,
I think? Sorry, go ahead.
They will have one of them.
Oh, they will?
Well, yeah, because I mean it's oh god, what's the
oh
what's
yeah,
the character's-
yeah. I know. I know what
sister.
you're about to say. It's her sister. Yes.
So
Mon
so
Mothma.
that's it, Mon Mothma's sister. So of course she's going to be in it. Whether the strong silent type sticks around, well, that's a different question.
I feel like she just did not want to be there. I feel like she knew that she was just there just to be their token lesbian, and was like, I'm just here.
I think
I'm
she
just
either
getting a
quits or
paycheck.
dies.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I get a paycheck at my job, and sometimes I just don't want to be there, because sometimes I feel like I'm just there to do other people's work. Not in my current job now, but in my previous position, that's how I felt. I was getting money, sure, but I felt like I was just there to do other people's work because I was actually dependable.
I'm pretty sure you would have worked for free over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done jobs.
Yeah, they yeah, I love that place so much.
I've done jobs where I was happy to rock up.
Yeah.
And I was very enthusiastic, and even if it did mean waiting for 2 hours and doing nothing for 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, a lot of my jobs were interacting with people, so I always enjoyed that.
And
Shade loves interacting with people.
You know it. I sort of hate it, not gonna lie. I'm a socially anxious, socially awkward person, and I mean I work in a different job now. I'm an optician, so I have to deal with glasses basically. So I have to do a lot of talking to people about glasses. I have to, not only that, but in my previous job, I just had to be in my area, had to tell people about things if they had questions. I really didn't have to go up to people and try to advertise our newest thing. I do that now in my job. I have to actually go out there and try to talk to people and sell them something, and I hate every second of it.
Are you the guy with the giant glasses, spinning them on the corner at the traffic light, like the Joker?
You're not supposed to tell anybody about about that. Okay, that was something I told you in confidence. Yeah.
I can totally picture you doing that.
I can't. I couldn't do it, even if I really wanted to do it. Well, no, if I wanted to do it, I probably could break out of the social anxiety that comes over me whenever I'm like around people I don't know. And don't get me wrong. I think I make myself sound worse than I really am. I'm not actually that bad. Like once I get talking to a person, I can talk. Okay, but it's me. It's the idea of me trying to go out there and sell something to somebody when I know myself that they're not interested. I don't want to bother somebody because I always get annoyed when people try to do that to me. So me being the empath that I am, I feel that way, and I'm like, I can't do this to other people, and it makes it hard for me to do that.
You applied for the wrong job. You needed to apply for Best Buy. That was your dream
Well,
job.
Best Buy, that's well, I mean,
Yes,
if we
because
had one around here.
tech salesmen, they don't really go to people, and when people go to them, they tell them to fuck up. So
True.
that was your job for you.
Chrono, you just
Yeah?
spoke Australian on stream. You're not meant to speak Australian on stream.
Yes, fluent
Well,
Australian might be.
In the Trump era, we do.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with that logic.
So hang on, I could have been speaking fluent Australian the entire time.
Well,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have stopped you, but I mean, go ahead, I guess. Chrono opened the floodgate, and now we're going to get the flood.
Fuck yeah!
Dear Lord, I'm going to regret this.
No, I've practiced too hard. It might be a bit difficult to sort of get back to full fluent Australian on stream.
Well,
Now, in my everyday life, yeah, no, fluent full Australian. But no, the minute I start on stream,
You probably need to play a losing match of your favorite team on the background to inspire yourself.
No, because I mean the thing is that if my team plays well, it's fine.
Yeah, that's why I say a losing match.
Yeah, that's what I meant. If they lose and play well, I'm still happy.
there is a difference. Like I used to.
Okay. You have to remember this one thing, Chrono. I barrack for a football team that in their 150-year history has won one premiership.
Wow.
He's used to losing, in other words.
We have won 27 wooden spoons.
Wooden spoons?
Hang on a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I will explain in a second.
Okay. Well, anyways, like when I actually lost my train of thought. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Say something, Chrono. Sorry, I put you on the spot. I can't think of anything.
I mean, it's fun. We were talking about crashing stuff that's crashing, like snowboard. So,
Yeah.
Did you see the other desperate move they did with the Avengers stuff?
I saw that. And you know the thing is, I'm somewhat excited for Doomsday, but I keep hearing so much negativity around it. And I want to believe it'll be good, but that's just me having like a lot of
that's the optimist in
copium.
you.
That's the optimist in me, yes. Because Doctor Doom is one of my favorite villains, and if he's going to be the main villain of Doomsday, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with them.
But
And
he's not.
he's not.
No, because you do know who is Doctor Doom in this one, right?
Well, yeah, it's going to be Tony Stark as Doctor Doom.
Yeah, it's not really Doom. It's Tony Stark as Doom, and they're going to play that in a terrible way. I'm sure.
I don't think they're going to play in it in a terrible way. You've got the Russo brothers. You've got, the talented actors back. Sorry, that's been a little bit insulting. I'm not saying that the Anthony Mack and everyone else from Phase 6 and 5 and everything after Endgame are bad actors or anything like that. But I mean,
it's more just the writing that was bad, not really the actors themselves.
But I mean, the thing is that you've got all this pedigree. It might not be great, but it won't be horrible. And Jesus, bloody Christ! Hang on a second, that's a phone call. I'll be back.
All right, but with Avengers Doomsday, I mean, I get where you're coming from on that, Chrono. I really do, and honestly, I'm somewhat leaning in that direction. But I want to believe that it won't be that bad. But that's because I really want it to do good. Because they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr., which, I mean, in a way, that's also got a red flag for me as well. I'm not saying this as a good thing that they're bringing him back necessarily. Can it work? Maybe. I'm not sure, but I want it to work.
But there is no build-up. I mean,
sure,
let's say Robert Downey Jr. works well, but they didn't build anything. They messed up the whole Faces thing before this.
They did, because back when Ant-Man Quantumania came out, they were really playing into the Kang villain being the next Thanos, basically, of the MCU. And they just completely forgot about him and phased him out, And I mean, I get it, because of the actor's trouble that he got into, but they could have just recast him, just like they did what's his name? War Machine's actor, Rhodey Rhodes.
Terrence Howard for Don Cheadle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why couldn't they just do that? And another thing, why?
Well, the problem is when you recast people, you sometimes end up with somebody that doesn't really fit the character, like it happened with Buffalo.
Yeah, true. And the thing is that you can do it easier with side characters. Yeah. Main characters, you need a really good reason. And the thing is that because of the way he was fired, you don't want people remembering that.
That is
true.
You
don't want any association, so it's best to just cut it all out and start again. And
in this case, it was granted because he was proven guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, rightfully so, like, I'm glad they did, but it's like, why phase the character out when you're building this whole thing up instead of, like, giving us a resolution to that, even if it's a cheap resolution.
The other reason to why they phased him out is because no one cared about Kang. And this was also true for the comic books. Kang in the comics is no one cares.
And the thing is that, I mean, it was one movie, so the thing was that it was more... I think it was
two, actually, but he was more prominent in the second.
That's right. No, it was one movie and a TV show.
The TV show. That's right. Yeah, Loki.
So there really wasn't a giant investment.
There wasn't. I guess I was thinking there was more to it, but now that I think about it, no. But it's still like what little they did, they built him up to be this very strong character and they were saying that he's coming a lot, like why can't they give us an explanation as to why he isn't coming? Even if it's a throwaway line of saying, "Oh, he was destroyed by this character that's now coming." You know?
Because the thing is that after everything calms the hell down, they can do a recast.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything when you can put it on the back burner. And
That is true. That is true. I didn't think about that.
And off camera never really works.
No, it don't. But
So
the only reason
it's
I was
just sort of a
saying
case
that
of
is
go, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. The only reason I say it like that, because I don't like that either. I personally would rather have something on screen that they can show me, even if it's not necessarily the greatest. At least we get a resolution. But the only reason I say that is if they didn't plan on doing anything with that character at all, then I feel like it'd be better to get an explanation than none.
True.
And that's the only reason. Like, would I prefer it? No. But if that's what they truly plan to do, then yes, I would prefer just a throwaway line. Like, let's say Dr. Doom destroyed him and now he's coming for us, you know? And maybe one day we'll get to see how he destroyed him. They can always go back to Kang the Destroyer if once they defeat Dr. Doom or something like that. Like, you know, there's still possibilities if they really wanted to bring in Kang again, especially with the multiverse thing that they got going.
But it also depends on what they're planning on doing with the multiverse.
True.
Because I mean, the thing is that there was I can't remember if it was a stream, but there was a video where they were actually showing the backs of
the chairs?
directors' chairs. Yeah. It was a stream, yeah. And, you know, you had the original X-Men cast, Pedro Pascal, and all the other actors that are still currently in the MCU. So we're gonna have some pretty interesting meshes, I guess you could say. So it's sort of a big case of, at this present moment, we probably just have to wait and see, because we don't know what they're cooking.
Yeah, the current leaks from Fantastic Four say that, and this has been kind of confirmed by insiders, that Galactus destroys the universe Pedro Pascal and the others are in, and they end up in the universe of the MCU.
Oh God, if they do it that way, Jesus. I'm sorry, that just seems cheap.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, I mean, the multiverse thing, I sort of wish they just, stop with it. Because I feel like it's getting too out there.
Hang on. Are we getting to the point where DC does a better multiverse story than goddamn Marvel?
Oh, it seems like we're getting to that.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's crazy to think.
Because, the Arrowverse did a really good job with with all the different worlds and multiverses and all that.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
But
especially seeing how they weren't originally going to do anything like that, and then they went, this is far too popular and it's far too much of a miss if we don't do this.
The only successful Marvel multiverse movie is Deadpool, and that's because it's a joke.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is even sadder.
Yeah. And, I mean, a movie like that, though, makes sense because it's Deadpool. Deadpool, it makes sense for that kind of thing. because that's his character. He's fourth wall breaking. So I mean, it sort of implies that he can do multiverse things.
Yes. And it's rumored that that's what they're going for, that Doomsday is going to be kind of like that.
What a parody.
That they're going to find out the hard way that you can't just copy what they did for Deadpool in a serious tone because it doesn't work.
Right. It just feels too out there with all the multiverse stuff now. It really does feel like it's just too out there. Now, mind you, I'm okay with it getting a little out there because it is like a, it's superhero
Pretty out there to
stuff.
begin with.
It was already a little out there to begin with. Though it did still feel a little more grounded until the multiverse was introduced. And then it starts, like, especially with, like, let's say Loki. What really got me is that they treated the Infinity Stones like paperweights. And I was like, so we went through all that just for them to be treated like paperweights in this new phase of the MCU. I didn't like that myself.
But
go ahead.
It does kind of, how many universes were there? Like thousands?
Yes, thousands.
Yeah.
If every single one of those universes have Infinity Stones, because, well, they should.
Yeah.
If universes are dying and all that type of situation, yeah, you might have an interdimensional agency with a whole lot of Infinity Stones.
Yeah, but treating them as paperweights feels a little like they're throwing away the struggles that the previous characters had went through. If anything, they should have treated them like they were still like a little bit dangerous,
Yeah, true.
I can understand that they are not the most powerful things in the Marvel universe. I can understand that. It's not that hard for me to believe that, because I mean, we got Infinity Stones, sure, but Galactus, he's like a world-eating being. Like, he's got to be stronger than Thanos, I can understand things like that, but to have them sitting on your desk in this time area where, like, the time stone in general could be devastating to that, in my opinion. I feel like that would be a little bit dangerous to these time enforcement people, whatever they are. I forget what they are. But no, they just treat them like paperweights. And I think it was meant to be a joke because they were trying to be funny, but I don't think it landed, in my opinion. I think they really shouldn't show that as a joke.
The problem with the TVA, the problem with the TVA is that it's not properly with. They are just there. The show was about Loki, not about the TVA, and the show should have been about the TVA. Because it is an interesting premise that you have this special unit dedicated to monitor universal branches and prevent this and that, and you can go any number of ways from there. But the show wasn't really about them; it was about Loki.
And the thing is that probably a better way to have played it is, sort of Loki seeing one of the Infinity Stones on the table. And then it's just sort of like, who left this on my table? This should be back in the blah, 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 blah. I know we have 5,000 of them, but still, we don't want our tables to be destroyed again.
Yeah, at least treat them like they have some sort of, like, danger factor to them, but also you can turn it into a bit of a joke like that, and I think that would have worked.
Yeah,
but you
can sort of, we know, we're fully aware we have 5,000 of them, and of course we can have then Loki with his eyes popping out, so like, you have what?
These are the Infinity Stones. What are you talking about? Like,
especially since that Loki has not been through all the drama and the issues that the Infinity Stones caused.
Exactly.
This Loki comes from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, for him to he thinks the Tesseract is one of the more powerful things ever.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he even know it had an Infinity Stone in it. He probably did. But either way, he at that point in time is probably thinking that that's one of the most powerful things there ever was. And then here comes this guy throwing this other one in a drawer and then telling him, yeah, we use it as paperweights now. Like, what?
Yeah.
I can understand him being like bewildered that it's not the most powerful thing in the universe, but pairing that with it being used
They're
as
paperweights.
and it's sort of like the beginning of the Last Jedi when Luke takes the lightsaber from Rey and just tosses it. Like that lightsaber holds importance. There was a lot of things done with that lightsaber. It's a very iconic, in a way, more like a symbol.
Yeah, but the motivations were different because the Infinity Stone joke is just a joke. But right. the lightsaber thing was done intentionally to piss off fans.
That is true. The intent does matter in this one. I do agree.
Have we gone back to Disney failures?
More or less. I think this is more
okay, cool.
This is more or less just their failures. And I mean, I was genuinely curious though, because I've not had anybody to talk to about Doomsday, so I sort of wanted to know. But I mean, you got to think though, and this can tie into failures, because with the way the MCU is currently going, I still, as much as I want to have hope for Doomsday, because like I said, Doctor Doom is one of my absolute favorite Marvel characters. I don't want to be disappointed, but I still feel, because of their track record with movies recently and shows, I still feel like I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm going to go into this feeling like I'm going to be disappointed. I mean, there's been quite a few Marvel projects that I haven't had any interest in watching at all. This is the first one in a while that I've actually wanted to watch, and possibly in theaters as well. But
I will say this. I will say this. I can see it being another Andor type of thing.
And you're probably right.
Something really good that nobody goes and watches.
And that's the thing. Like, you gotta make people care about this stuff. They've not made us care about the new Doctor Doom coming in. The only reason I'm invested at all is because I just like the character. But I think it was you, Chrono, that said this earlier. There was no build-up, unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It might have been used right away. Oh, it was you. Okay. There was no build-up to this, and I think that's how we got off on Kang and how they were building up. But anyways, they haven't built anything up, and they've had probably chances, because the Avengers Doomsday has been announced for a long time that it's going to be the next Avengers movie. And you'd think that with a lot of their recent Marvel movies that they were trying to do for the MCU, they'd start like building up Doctor Doom, but they haven't. They tried to do something with Captain America 4, but it didn't go well, and I don't think they did anything with Doctor Doom in that one. They didn't build him up in that one. It was more of like a spy and espionage type of thing, I think, which was probably a good idea for a new Captain America movie. But if you're trying to connect it to this new Avengers movie, there's needed to probably be some sort of a indication that there's a connection, and there might need to be a bit of a build up for this new villain that we are about to see,
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't think they could have done that in a Captain America movie.
No,
especially when, from the sound of it, it's going to be something multiversal. So,
well, here's the thing.
I can. Well, I could see it happening in the Fantastic Four.
I can too, but
That's probably where the setup's going to come from.
and you're probably right. If the Fantastic Four are brought into the current MCU because their universe is destroyed or something like that, it's probably Doctor Doom that's going to do that, and he's going to, I guess, try to go through the universes and destroy them, or whatever. I don't know what his motivation is in this, mainly because they haven't built anything up for it. But what I want to say is that instead of, or this is what I was building up to. Sorry, I'm doing a terrible job building up, but at least I'm trying to build up, unlike some people. If they really wanted to build up Doomsday, they wouldn't have made that Captain America movie. They would have made something else, in my opinion. Something that would try to build up for the new villain. Just like the Fantastic Four, if that's where he's going to come in, which is a good theory for sure, and it probably is true. He probably will be the one to do that. But it shouldn't just be one movie. Because wouldn't that be the last movie before Doomsday comes out? Because I don't think there's any other. So. Yeah, I don't think there's any others announced between.
No, the next two movies are Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts.
Oh, the Thunderbolts! I forgot about that one. But
yet again, Thunderbolts will fit into the exact same problem as Captain America.
Exactly.
It doesn't suit a multiversal story.
It really
and
doesn't.
If they tried to force one,
I think it will mess up the Thunderbolts.
Though I could actually see them introducing the what's Dr. Doom's name? I don't know the character well enough.
Victor Von Doom?
Yeah, Victor Von Doom.
They could introduce Victor Von Doom and just have him as a what's the word I'm looking for? A weapons dealer or something.
Maybe.
And the final cutscene is the multiversal one coming and taking him or killing him or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that the main story or the whole story you can't really see them doing anything multiversal.
Right. It would have to be little subtle hints. They can't make the movie about that, especially when it comes to Captain America or Thunderbolts. There's no way they can truly make those movies about that, because it don't suit the characters to be dealing with a situation like that for a solo movie. And I mean, for the Fantastic Four, I mean, depending on what the situation is, I mean, I can see it, but at the same time, if you're doing a Fantastic Four movie, would you really want it to be like their first movie to be dealing with a multiverse threat and not just something strictly related to the Fantastic Four universe?
No. But the thing is that it doesn't need to be a multiversal threat. It just needs to introduce the multiversal threat.
That is true. That is true.
So or be the triggering point for the multiversal threat.
Yeah.
So
maybe
yet again, I mean, it's just sort of like finding out that at the end of the movie, after you've been dealing with this, that the Tesseract was actually an Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are just dealing with it as the Tesseract.
Mhm.
and all this other type of situation.
Yeah.
You don't know until the very end that, oh no, it's an affinity stone, and you'll find out about that next movie.
Yep.
So the Fantastic Four doesn't really need to be diving in deep. It just needs to, have
Dip its toes in the water.
dip the toes in the water, and without knowing how Doomsday's, what's going to happen in it, you don't know what that toe dip is going to be. Whether we see Robert Downey Jr. as Doomsday, or we just not Doomsday, Doctor Doom, or we see Doctor Doom, or any of that other type of stuff.
Yeah.
It just doesn't necessarily need to be the focus.
Right.
But yet again, it's just sort of a case of, have they left this too long?
Right. Well, I had something to say and that left me.
Well, that never happens.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. It's just this stream, it only, I think, has happened twice. I think I had something to say earlier. That's when I'm like, Chrono, say something. And then it left me. Yeah, no.
Of course, you always dump the hard labor to the minority.
That is true. That is true. I'm glad that you can proudly say that you work for me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I think
do you notice how you have ramped up your white supremacy now that Trump is president?
Yeah, I felt so empowered.
Complaining about brown people.
Oh Lord. Well, ever since he got voted in, I just felt so empowered to just be myself. It's insane, what being a white man can do. All the privilege, all the racism,
It's just coming out.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's just part of me, It's something deeply integrated into my being. And my skin color. It has to be partly because of my skin color too. It can't just be in there. Because I'm telling you, if I was a different color, I wouldn't be racist. I just hate white people, and that's not considered racist. So
yeah,
that's how crazy the logic is, though. I mean, in all seriousness, how is that even logical? Oh man. It's funny.
The funniest thing is this is all going to get clipped.
Yeah. That is the funniest thing.
You can be glad that you are not famous.
Yeah, I am so glad I'm not famous. The expectation of me having to watch what I say, I mean, I still sometimes watch what I say for the most part. But I mean, there is a line for me. I will say this or that, but there is a line that I will try not to cross, and that being like, not making any jokes that could be considered racist, probably, or saying something that could actually be considered racist. And I'm not talking about just disliking something and people thinking I'm racist for it, but no, I won't even say it because I'm afraid that it would be bad to say it. But there's there's so many things that I could say, not that I would say it, but there's so many things I could say, but I don't because, there are things that you can say that are truly racist. And the thing is, though, the word racist has lost its meaning, so I can disagree.
There is no words or sentence that you can say that is racist. only your intentions
True.
are racist.
True. That is true. That is true. Because you could sit down with let's say a black guy and make a joke about a cotton field, and they laugh at it. But if you're actually telling them to go out there and be your slave, that's different, you know.
That's like a whole different conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, as a hypothetical, I would never do that, by the way. I know I'm white, but I wouldn't do it.
And I mean, the thing is that even they will make, some African Americans, they will make the jokes about cotton fields.
They will.
Yes, they will.
And Aussies will make jokes about riding kangaroos, and
yeah, we Latinos joke about deportation. We do. Yes, this is
good. Hey! I remember watching a video of a tweet had a video. I can't remember if it was on TikTok or whatever, but it was I'm guessing he was Latino, but he was just sort of sitting there crying and going, "Oh, it's such a tragedy, my undocumented mother-in-law could potentially be deported by ICE. She's at insert address," and it was very obvious that the joke was he was wanting to get his mother-in-law deported. Even if even if he has a mother-in-law. Because
exactly.
it was just a joke of people abusing the system to get people deported.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty crass joke.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
I mean, as long as there's no malice behind jokes like that, though, and there really shouldn't be an issue with it. But how easily people throw the word racist around nowadays, like you can say anything and it would be considered racist or some sort of ist or phobic kind of comment. And you just got to be careful with what you say, because, I mean, the wrong crowd gets a hold of that, they can make your life miserable. Thankfully, I'm not famous enough for that. So, I mean, I don't really think they're going to be like, man, let's cancel this dude that's only got 124 subscribers, He's totally got a following that's really worrisome. But yeah. Anyways,
I think we've done this topic to death.
We have.
Well, sorry, correction. I'm pretty sure we can beat the horse a bit more, but I think we've probably just reached the maximum at the moment.
Yeah, you're right.
The maximum amount of horse beating that we can do.
We need to leave something for Commander 10.
Yeah, we
yeah.
Bring Commander Tano into this and get her thoughts. There's so much more to discuss, and I'm sure that over the next few weeks we're going to get so much more stuff to talk about. Sorry, and I'm going to say this. I promise I will stream again sooner rather than later. I promise. Okay.
So what? 5 months instead of 6 months?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be sooner than that. I promise. It will be sooner than that, because I've been so burnt out, and and here's the thing: I let myself get this way, but at the same time, I think I was mentioning this earlier. The whole reason I built this channel in general was because there was things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to actually talk about Star Wars and be excited for stuff. But over the years, it's been nothing but just a downpour of negativity. Yeah. And who really wants to talk about negativity? I want to talk about something that's doing good.
Yeah.
Well, of course you would. Of course you would. I mean, we have this right here for a reason. I made that specifically for you. Okay. So
I didn't really have anything to go off on.
no.
No,
But-
it's been pretty chill.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, we're all in the same boat here, though. I mean, I'm usually the optimist, but I don't know if you've noticed, and you probably have. Maybe I've said this before, but I've been less optimistic about everything that's been coming out. Like I mean, it's bad when I haven't touched Skeleton Crew, which I didn't care about it, but I thought it probably won't be that bad to watch. But then the Acolyte happened, and now I'm like, I'm not going to watch it because that's so atrocious, and I don't want to give them a single bit of support.
And the thing
for
is
their
that
next
I'm told that
project.
it's actually meant to be pretty good.
I know, and that's sad. And maybe one day I'll actually give it a try, but I'm not doing that right now because I'm too stubborn. I don't want to support Disney in any way. I don't want to show them that, yeah, I'm willing to go watch their Star Wars project, especially after the mess that was the Acolyte. Like, unless I see something that's actually in good faith trying to actually, I guess, make amends, which won't happen probably, but if they are trying to actually make amends to the fan base and try to fix what they had broken, that's one thing. But that's not going to happen. I doubt that's going to happen. The Acolyte was already proof right there that they don't care about us. So for them to start caring now would be just like, oh no, we lost everything. Let's try to get everything back now that we've lost it all. Like, you had a chance. You had a chance to stop this before it got too bad.
Yeah, it's
It
too
is
late.
too late. Either sell Star Wars to someone else or actually put out stuff that's faithful to the franchise itself, like what it was. You know, actually make something that's for entertainment and not trying to shove a girl boss in our eyes, or even try to put your own ideology. I don't know. I my words aren't with me right now. Okay.
Actually, you know, I wouldn't mind a girl boss being shoved into my eyes, especially, you know, chest first, and if they were tied up.
I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me reword that. Actually, no, I don't know if I can reword that now.
Here's the interesting question. Would you give them a chance if they give you interesting lesbians?
Well,
Sorry, interesting what?
I mean, if it's like Arcane, then I mean, I can maybe vibe with that. But the thing is, Arcane didn't disappoint us from the beginning like Disney has. So it'll take a lot of doing. It will take a lot of doing, but they might be able to pull it off. But I highly doubt it. At least after all the damage that they've done so far, I doubt they'll be able to do anything, you know, to make it up to us. And honestly, I almost don't want them to. I just want to move on. I'll enjoy everything from Marvel to Star Wars before they started shoving everything down our throats like they do now. Anything up to Endgame, even with Spider-Man, Far From Home, No Way Home, like those movies. I think it was No Way Home. That's it. That one came after Endgame. I think that's probably the latest movie in the Marvel franchise that I actually still consider. Nope, wrong about that. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I actually did enjoy it.
I still haven't sat down and watched that, actually. I really should do that.
You really should. It's not bad at all. It's actually a good movie. And I mean,
it's not a fun movie.
Better than...
I warn you, it's not a fun movie.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's good, but it's not fun.
It's
a bit of an emotional. Yeah,
it's a bit of an emotional movie, but it's in a. Yes. I mean, it's good, and I'm honestly surprised.
Like
yeah, like that.
Uh.
I'll pretend I've watched Logan. I haven't. I haven't watched it.
Good, I'm not the only one.
Hey, look, I haven't, and I've been really meaning to watch it, but I don't know what keeps holding me back. It's probably the fact that I've not watched any of the X-Men movies, and I think it just in me.
Really?
Yes, I haven't. The X-Men was never one of my things. Okay, I never.
I
was
would
a big fan.
probably suggest watching the X-Men movies before watching Logan.
That's why I haven't touched it yet. And as much as I want to, I know I have to watch X-Men before I do it. So
watch 1 and 2. Don't watch 3.
Okay.
X3
Alright.
sucks.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Are we talking about the 90s X-Men or the?
Oh, that's right. I don't know which ones you haven't watched. The first 3 or the other ones.
Second 3.
Yeah, the second 3.
I haven't watched any of them, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, is that the rule kind of works for both.
Yeah.
Don't watch the third one.
Okay, just leave out the third one on both of them. Okay, sounds like a good idea.
I mean, the first movies in both trilogies were really good.
Yeah. They were trying.
The second movie in the first trilogy, it was okay. The second movie in the second trilogy was awesome.
Yes, it was.
The third, the third in both trilogies were just,
Just okay.
The third movie can be summed up in why.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why did you bother?
Makes sense.
Oh, okay. The third movie in the actually, funny enough, they did the exact same core concept in both trilogies,
Yes,
which is just
I agree.
really kind of ironic, and they kind of failed in both situations.
It didn't work in both.
Yeah, it just and it was more a sort of failure in execution than any of the other types of
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of it that kind of didn't work. I guess the biggest problem with the third movie in the first trilogy was goddamn the bloody love triangle between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops.
Oh.
It just no. just no. They whoever thought of that idea should have just been absolutely backhanded until
I
they
heard about that.
until they dropped the idea.
Yeah.
Sorry. Funny enough, when it comes to that section of the X-Men universe, the first movie was the peak of the hill, and it just the second movie was plateaued, and then it was just downhill until they stopped making movies and they made First Class. Because I can't remember. I mean, the first Wolverine movie was trash. I think the second one, I can't remember if it was the second or the third one of the Wolverine movies were actually any good. But god damn, that first one was just crap. And it was such a shame because they actually had a good cast. That was actually the Wolverine Origins was actually the movie where they first had Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yeah, and I didn't like what they did with the Deadpool in that.
And then they sewed his mouth shut, and
it just didn't feel
wow. Just
why would they do that?
Oh my god, it was such a bad movie. Not as bad as bloody Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, probably not.
There is a reason why in the first Deadpool movie, the second Deadpool movie, Ryan Reynolds went to, recreated Wolverine Origins just to shoot his character. Just the minute he was going, in those scenes, I think everyone that saw Wolverine Origins would have cheered when that scene came up and Deadpool shot Deadpool.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Because
I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, they are watchable movies, but you just sort of you are sort of like going, why?
Yeah.
Throughout. And there were some interesting things in the Wolverine Origins movie. It was just there was just so much poorly done. And well,
I'm gonna go ahead and say that we've done our thing for tonight, or this morning for you, sir.
No,
afternoon
this afternoon.
Now. Afternoon.
Yeah,
now.
this afternoon.
Right. Yeah, I think it's like close to 1 o'clock. I think for you.
No. Have another go. Nope.
2.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know it was getting that late. Well, anyway.
Well, I did say afternoon.
That's true. That's true. Well, anyway, so I think we did our thing for tonight. So we are going to go ahead and end this stream. I'm not going to do my typical outro. So we're just going to say see you next time. Sometime. I promise it will be sooner than 6 months. I promise. You can hold me to it.
Cool.
But, yeah. Because there's a lot to talk about, and there will be more to talk about in the future, which is very evident.
I'm sorry, there will be what now?
Oh, there will be more. The first time I legitimately got to use that. The first time I legitimately got to use that in the stream. And it had me at the end. Well, anyways, may the force be with you, and we'll see you next time.